Places, pupils, please take your seats. The class of sorts is in motion. Welcome to another episode of Ask Ledoux, a series in which I help you get out of those predicaments that you may have found yourselves in. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's do this! Sensei, Milady purchased Baja Blast the other day, but she got, I do want to say it, she got Baja Blast Zero. I drank it anyway, as I felt it would be a sin to shun the dew, if it can even be called that, but I'm wondering what I should do in order to prevent this travesty from ever happening again. How can I tell Milady not to buy the wrong kind without crushing her tender heart? Hoping that an expert in both chivalry and poise, such as yourself, can help me in this dire dilemma. Oh, silly, silly Canon. Let me just start by saying, many a gentle sir has been in the position you find yourself in. You see, a lot of Catons, with their delicate small frames, are used to buying things with 0 calories and the like. You just have to inform your Caton that you're under a strict training regimen and diet as per Dojo Ledoux. Ergo, you shall need the highest possible calorie intake per day. Doubtless Caton will want to help out as best she can to try and please you by going to the store and purchasing the correct flavors of dew and mayhaps some snacks. If they don't immediately run to your beck and call, feel free to allow your good old sensei to play the role of the villain of sorts. Well, doubtless your Caton can't argue with that, lest they face a punishment of sorts. Well, good luck, kiddo.
Sensei Ledoux. I, 43M, have recently found myself infatuated with a kitten of sorts from my workplace. But whenever I try to go up and talk to her, and demonstrate my katana wielding skills, if you will, I get too nervous and retreat. Grrr. I'm a stupid baka, I know. As something of a charmer yourself, surely you'd be well versed in how to approach a milady. What do? Bows and leaves.
Well, pupil, it might shock you to hear this, but I was not always the confident, charismatic sensei you see before you. Why, I too was once quite nervous in front of miladies. In the presence of a beautiful milady, my knees would begin trembling. I would start nervously sweating and, my voice would become all crackly. Not like my deep voice that you're hearing right now. Well, something I have found over time is that quite often, if not more often, the Caton is just as nervous, if not even more so, than you are. Well, I'm willing to wager that whenever you enter the same room as this Caton in question, that she shies away nervously. Mayhaps she even leaves the room when you enter. Well, this is quite simple. It's because Catons love the thrill of the chase. Ergo, you should be chasing after her, katana in hand, asserting your dominance, demanding a date to the food court. And don't take no for an answer. Trust me, pupil, you'll be thanking me later when you have the date of your dreams. Ha! You're welcome, kiddo. Okay, next question. Sensei, I require insight from your vast bank of knowledge. I had my Caton over for a few plates of tendies and, if the night went well, a glass of finest red. But when I entered my dew cellar to retrieve a vintage 2008, I noticed that my finest red had molded over. Ergo, my Caton and I were left thirsty. How do you suggest I bring justice to this most unfortunate event? Let's sigh. Pupil, this unfortunate event they speak of is most unfortunate indeed. Unfortunate because you have made a fatal error of sorts. Well, let me ask you this. The gentle sirs of the ye old days in Europe would enjoy some moldy cheese and wine from time to time, would they not? Well, you, my friend, have just missed out an opportunity to have a 2-in-1 option of sorts for you and your Canon. Well, I can only hope that this can be salvaged, or rather the dew could be salvaged, and hopefully you didn't make the most unfortunate mistake of throwing it in the garbage. Well, as long as you still have it in the cellar, all can be redeemed. And mayhaps you could invite Canon over for an anime binge session and some more tendies. Well, mayhaps you could enjoy that fine vintage and, well, if I could recommend getting some Ritos and scraping the mold off the top and... well, I'm getting ecstatic just thinking about it. Well, I would say you knew what to do, kiddo. Redeem yourself and enjoy that dew. Lord knows I would be if I had some. Speaking of dew, mayhaps I have some moldy dew in the pantry. Oh, how fortuitous! This next question is specifically in regards to the previous episode of Ask Ledoux, where I explained why you should not bathe or use deodorant. But Sensei, you're not allowed to go to a Japanese onsen without bathing first. How can I have my hot springs episode and maintain my natural essence? Pupil, this might be the toughest question I've ever been asked on an episode of Ask Ledoux. I tip my hat to you for asking what most would dare not speak. Well, yes, I must say that this has caused quite the turmoil in my soul. You see, whilst I revere the traditions of Japan, all of you knew that some of my teachings would be quite controversial there. Bathing before getting in a bath, which is, some might say, a double bath, is quite a no-no in Dojo Ledoux. In fact, such a rule is doubtless the work of Big Bath. If we look back in history, I can't imagine people were bathing before getting in a hot spring. Back in yonder years, Japan. And they certainly weren't using deodorant or all that soup. Well, I'm not sure what I would do, pupil, but if you must do this, I recommend that you at least pretend to shower. Perhaps just drizzle some water on top of yourself, but don't you dare use any soup. Well, either way, you must ensure that you train more than thrice afterwards with the blade to build back up any essence you may have lost. Well, I must go now to look myself in the eyes in the mirror and ask myself would I truly do this, because truthfully, pupil, I'm not sure I would have the strength to wash away all of my essence. Well, we've never ended on a note such as this. I'm beginning to question my very being. Who the hell am I? Ah, crud, now I'm having an existential crisis of sorts. Nice job, bucko! Well, until next time, I suppose.